from the beginning. So I'd like you just to relax in your chair and really think about the future. And what does the future say to you today? And what does it feel to be in your lighthouse? So the Magical Conversation Wisdom Circle is a new start for those of us who've been meeting over the last year to look at how we can shine our light so others may find safe harbor. I have a great affinity with the sea. So when I think about putting our future together, I feel about the vastness of the sea and the earth, and how we can actually shine our light and create our world together. Hashtag stronger together. And one of the reasons that Lisa Mara is here today, helping me fantastically with running this show, is that also her hashtag is stronger together. Mine is Magical Conversations. And my team have been helping me to build real synergy over the last year. So I've been working in this field of understanding human nature and how we communicate for over 30 years, probably all my life, which is 72 years. But real synergy started last June when this beautiful group of people came together. You'll see Philip is here for sure, and Tammy's here. I'm hoping that Adolfo will come, maybe Curtis. And Angela, Dawn, and Alison have really helped me to hone what I wanted to find out about men and women. Do we see the world differently? Do we see the future differently? Do we see our own lives differently? Do we see each other differently? How do we manage those differences? How do we create a new narrative that will actually allow us to always be totally psychologically, emotionally, and physically safe when we're talking to people, whether it's the boardroom or the family table or out on holiday? That was always my passion. And what I sense is that we have a heart. All of us have a heart. The whole world has a heart, but the world is hurting a bit. There's lots of people who don't understand differences and they make them difficulties, and then they get into arguments and they hurt their hearts. So we want to find a way that we can actually express ourselves by retaining who we are and understanding other people. So I welcome all of you, and it really is a world affair, a global affair. So we're traveling onwards. It's not all going to be sorted out in one session. It's about how do we see each other for all our differences? How do we see what we see in the world differently? Each of you have a different view of the future. We've been looking at how do we navigate that? How do we create synergy? So synergy is all the parts coming together to make the whole. And all those parts are different. So we are talking about similarities in desire, in unifying, in creating harmony. We also have gathered lots and lots of information over the last year, and men and women have explored the same questions. And what's fascinating is we see the world differently. Now that is magical. I want that to be magical because communication is what it's all about. Our language, do we listen? Do we truly appreciate? We've got people from India here, from England, from Canada, from different parts of America. I'm a Brit living in America. There's two cultures there. Lisa has come from another culture originally. We've all got heritage, we've got ancestry, we've got lots of threads coming in together. And what I want to explore is, who are you as your own lighthouse? What is your lighthouse made of? And what messages are you shining out across the sea of the global world? So can we create our future together? Yes, of course we can. Now we can either create it with arguments and destructive behavior, which we sometimes see out there on the news, unfortunately. But all the people here, I believe, really want to create a future together by connecting all the dots. And Lisa Mara is a super connector. She said to us earlier, she connected thousands of people. All of you have your own connective tissue in the world. But it's not the old map, it's the new map. And do we know each other well enough to know the future we can co-create? So this cycle of intention is key. It's absolutely key. We need to know ourselves, tune in to other people, especially those who are different to us, and create a new narrative which enables us to maximize those differences. Yes? So we've been working on this, and we discovered some obvious things. Men and women are different. and I'm just talking about absolute core behavior. Men tend to be either or, task focused, and women are very and multifaceted. But not all men are the same. There's a masculine and feminine energy in all men, and women are not all the same. There's a feminine and masculine energy in women. And that's what we've been studying by taking the same question and asking men and women and looking at the different. The difference also in the world, as I referred to, is that it's very divided, very distressed, very pandemic. But it's a future worth living for, about equity, equality, balance, diversity, vive la difference. So the main theme today in terms of starting this journey to create our future together is, can we truly and honestly learn to tango? Now, I'm a dancer, so I actually know how to tango. You don't actually have to tango, but how can we get that rhythm together, the yin and yang? And how can we actually produce a whole chorus line where we do things in unison, but we're all individuals? So we talk about moving from mindset to mind flow. And the mind flow is how we enter that lighthouse and we shine our light out so that everybody can hear, but we're also listening and we're actually appreciating the difference. So we go from conflict to collaboration, and we might all have a different view of collaboration. So when we get into our groups to look at things, we impact everything. Life at work is key. We're all entrepreneurs as well, and we all want to change worlds in different ways. One of the things I want to put into your mind is the things that we're similar about are our desires and our energy. So if you look at this thread where we're all coming together, we're flowing the combination of either or, that very male perspective, to and that female perspective. But inside there, we're different types of women, different types of men. But the things that keep us together and unified, and I've just selected some words, are things like love, authenticity, trust, compassion, passion, kindness. We did a whole session on kindness, honesty, respect, connectivity, but also imagination, purpose, vision. Now, all these are words that I'm sure that we all use, but do we use them differently? And when we start winding these threads together, are we creating a future that we can all own a part of? Remember, synergy is the maximum of all the parts together. So for those of you who know my work and our work with my team, we look at gender dynamics. We look at different types of archetypes. And I'm just going to show you some of these, because these are characters that help us to maximize how we're going to see the world. So for those of you who've seen these before, you will know what these are. And I have a few examples in the audience. But essentially, we've assessed that the male archetypes are the ruler and the philosopher. So the ruler is the masculine male. He's got lots of very focused energy, action, solutions. Whereas the philosopher is the gentle, intuitive guy who loves people, loves synergy. Now, both of these characters are part of the wholeness of men. Mankind can be both the ruler and the philosopher, but there may be one that is your preference in terms of behavior. For the females, there's the magician and the sovereign. The magician is a masculine-minded female who loves ideas, loves to put ideas and concepts and people together. Very collaborative, very eclectic in her collaborative nature. That's me. The sovereign can also do these things, but she loves to bring the community together with feelings. She's a very emotional woman who brings the community together. So you might be thinking about which one of these you are. And it doesn't matter if you don't know, just kind of think on that. And I want you to think about your lighthouse as we will be going into some collective conversations together and breakout rooms. The lighthouse is about who you are, definitely. How you feel, what's your perception? What do you do? Are you very action oriented? How do you love? How do you enter relationships? How do you communicate? And taking these all into a field of respect, how do you get to real synergy? Now, I believe that all of us who come together are wise, otherwise we probably wouldn't be here. We've come here maybe because we know what it's about, or we've heard about it from Lisa, from somebody else. That's okay. We come together because we are valuable. And absolutely at core, it's about choice, ownership, responsibility, and energy. And in a moment, I'll invite Philip to explain this, because it's very important to the magical conversation. So when we look at the whole picture and we go into discussion about how do we respect differences in order to start our journey to create the future, I want you to think about how grounded you are in yourself. Do you know what kind of man or woman you are? And how does your light shine? You might be very focused on the groundwork of your lighthouse. You might be in the middle, or you might be at the top, but you've got to keep on looking at the whole light and see where it shines. The magical conversation is that there is no judgment in the magical conversation. There's no anger, lots of passion, but no anger, and there's no coercion. So we're not looking for absolute results straight away. We're looking to seed the groundwork for how we create the future together, respecting differences. And we're going to take a look at this when we get into our breakout group, but we'll come back to that in a minute. I want to stop the share and just come back into the gallery. And let's have a look at, wonderful, I can see more people. So welcome to those who have joined us since I started. Thank you for coming. It was wonderful to see you all. And one other thing is, we've got a chat line. Make sure that you put in the chat line anything that you want to, but also who you are and where you're coming from. And also, I'd like you to think about, what is your one word? What is your one big word for the future right now? Write that in the chat. And I'm going to start by putting abundance. We've got harmony, hopeful, visionary, fantastic. Growth, peace. Act, gratitude, collaboration. So we all have feelings about the future. One of the things that I wanted to draw in here is how we understand different points of view. And these archetypes bring us some perspective. So when we go into our rooms, we'll think about that. I want to introduce you to Philip. Philip has been working with me for 30 years, so I think probably he knows me quite well. And Philip, give us a quick perspective on what the gender dynamic archetype and being a ruler has helped you to understand, and introduce us to core. You got on sound.
There we are. So I'll start in reverse order. I'll go through core first, because I think that's a useful start point. And core came about when we were managing the wellness debates back in whatever century that was, because that's a long time ago. And what came to mind for me was how it is that choice, ownership, and responsibility sit very clearly together, but that most people don't see them sitting together. And by working with clients and showing them this particular model, it helped them understand that a choice has an ownership of the choice and a responsibility for the outcome of the choice. And that there is also making no choice needs to be seen as a choice. And for a lot of people, saying, I don't have a choice, there's no other option, is seen as an end result. There is nothing further. So opening up the item, opening up the word choice to accept that no choice is a choice in itself, means that you then add the ownership and responsibility And what people then understand is that saying I don't have a choice is basically a cop-out or a lack of vision or a lack of understanding. And when you get the lack, that's when the intervention helps most. So those people who know choice, ownership, responsibility, or can bring it together for themselves, understand that the responsibility in communication, and that's where it brings its biggest benefit, understanding that I'm responsible for the way I communicate because I choose the words that I say and own them, and then accept that some people will understand them and some people might not understand them with my intention. It's about how that energizes itself into the value cycle. And the E is the energy. So E came about as an added part of the core model, in understanding that the more energy you have, the positive, the vital energy that goes into core as a model, brings about a more vital and a more energized response from others. So by touching people with that notion, it helped me understand that that's a really good way to help other people move themselves from being stuck, whatever stuck might mean for those individuals. So that's that part. And then ruler, I remember having quite a long debate with Pauline about the fact that I was a masculine-minded man who liked action and wanted to get on with things and tell people what to do, and I only needed to have 3 things given to me at once. And we talked and laughed about that for a little while, and then it started to occur to me as I listened to what I was saying that actually I'm a ruler. And very clearly I am a ruler, and I am a top percentile ruler. Even though I'm talking quite a lot now, my usual sense for a ruler is just give me the bullet points and let me get on.
Yes.
Stop hankering me with the detail. Stop giving me lots of information. Don't give me books to read because it weighs me down. Just give me the initial information. And you'll see Tammy, I can see, is at the top of my screen. If you look at her grin, she will tell you that that is exactly what I'm like when we're in our smaller sessions of the circle.
Yeah.
What that's helped me understand is my aggravation with people who want to waffle. That's my word for them giving valuable information, but they want to waffle for 5 minutes. And what I really want them to do is to come to the point. I just need a point. That's all I want. So what that's helped me understand is that I need to check my impatience and give space for this individual, because it's their right to have their 5 minutes to say what they need to say, which isn't waffle, it's important. So it's helped me understand that having that awareness of my aggravation and sitting back from that and giving them the space to have their time brings about a much better communication than if I just say, can I just stop you there? Can you just tell me what it is you want? Which is what my head is saying, Philip, just get to the point with this person. Whereas what I'm learning is just sit back and let them speak. So there's an example of me as a ruler.
And thank you. The reason these things are important is that when we get into conversations where we're going to be listening, the waffle factor is part of it. And women tend to talk much more than men, for a start. But some of you men listening will be our philosophers. And our philosopher men actually love to talk more than the ruler. Although, yes, Philip was invited to say that piece. But generally, the ruler will, and the rulers in our world are very, come on, get to the point. What is it all about? The philosophers, and I always quote Nelson Mandela as a philosopher, that they are the strong man, but they are listening and they're asking questions, they're feeling their way through things. Now, Philip will do that as well, but at the point of impatience, it's let's do it now. And Curtis is on the line here. Curtis, I think you're in a car somewhere. Is that right? I don't know whether he's going to come on screen, but
no, I'm here. I'm here.
Go there. So Curtis is our philosopher, and is a much more feelings person, asks lots more questions. That's true, isn't it, Curtis?
Oh yes, in a big way.
And I believe, Curtis, you were saying that in your experience, you've often felt slightly hounded by a large group of rulers being much more dominant in a conversation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't know how else to describe it other than I can relate to some of my sovereign women friends who are sort of just sovereign friends that when a ruler is in their full ruler mode, it can be very challenging to deal with when there's feelings based things going on, and so yeah, that's some good insight for us philosophers.
The reason just for highlighting this is that when we sit to listen, different types of men will hear the situation in different ways with each other, let alone with women. And women will hear things in different ways. So Tammy's here, who can mix it with magician and sovereign, but loves to be a sovereign because words and intuition and sensitivity are very important for you. And you've on occasion had problems with men overloading the space and not allowing her to speak. Isn't that true, Tammy?
Welcome to my life. And being true to my sovereignness, I speak in stories. Sorry, Philip. And thank you for cheering my stories on, for not cutting it off. But yeah, that's, everybody needs to feel seen, heard, and understood. And for some of us, we have a lot more to say. We get around it by taking the scenic route, and that can be frustrating. So it helps to know to get there quicker, to not cut ourselves off, but to not always be on the Sunday drive.
Yes. So in terms of, you might have noticed there was a little map below the lighthouse. Essentially, men and women are different, but different types of men are different to different types of women. So if I have some strong masculine energy in me, it doesn't mean I'm any less a woman, but I think into my head very quickly and into logic. And Tammy might go into her heart quicker and see sensitivity, like with Curtis, more sensitive than maybe Philip when he needs action. So when we go into our breakout and we're really truly listening about how the future will be created, our feeling is that the map is a baseline for different points of view. So any of those words that I put out, like love, compassion, trust, honesty, will all have a slightly different view. Everybody will have a different perspective. But the more aware we are and the more we listen, the more we can combine our narrative in order to create a future. And I'm not saying what the future is. We're on a bridge of transition. I don't know whether you've seen the film Harrison Ford in Raiders of the Lost Ark, where he walks across an invisible bridge and the guru on the other side of the cavern is saying, trust that it's there. And he steps out and he's on nothing in terms of what we're visualizing, and he walks across. But the key thing is that when he gets to the other side, he picks up the sand and he throws it back across the bridge in order to highlight it for other people. So in terms of my passion and why I'm doing this and creating this intention for us to share how we create the future, is to literally create a, if you like, a new compendium, a new language that we can actually share in business and in life in different cultures. So we are actually going to do this session in the southern hemisphere. I know some of you are in the southern hemisphere now in Africa, but we're also going to do it halfway through the month, the same topic of respecting differences this time, with different cultures in Australia, in Malaysia and the Philippines. Because as well as being men and women, we really want to find a way of understanding the cultural differences all the other diversities, sexual orientation, the maybe the religious connotations, whatever it is. But the core of it is that it's positive, proactive. It's creating a new future, which is something we can all align with, even though we're different. So in going into some breakout groups, and Lisa's going to be in charge of that. I think we're going to do, should we do 4 in a group? What do you think, Lisa?
So we can, if we want to have more time, we have even, we can do 3 groups of 5s or
5.
Yes. All balance if you want to, and then have 2 minutes each.
Yeah. So when you're in your group, if is to really look at thinking about your one word for the future, share something about that, but really listen to people's differences. Because I want you to come back in terms of understanding the different characters in your room and what is the melting pot, what is the synergy pot in the start place. We can't do it all in one session, but let's start the trail. We're walking out on that bridge, and to think into our imagination. So one of the bylines in the work I do with entrepreneurology is bring knowledge, experience, and imagination together. You've all got knowledge. You've all got amazing knowledge. You've got amazing experiences. Some are failures, some are pluses. You've learned from it. But how do we use our imagination to imagine something that we don't have now? So we're creating a future without regard to the past. So don't bring up, but what does it want to be? My word was abundant, and I believe we can do abundance for all of us. Okay, so Lisa's in charge. How much time? We're going to do 10 minutes.
So we'll have 10 minutes. So you know, this is really a time to hold space and be heard, to be seen. I do invite all of you to set an intention to find who you seek and what you seek today before we create the breakout rooms. So you'll each go into a breakout room of 5 people, and each of you will have 2 minutes to go around to just talk about your word, as Pauline said, and then we'll come back out and share from there. Okay.
And get somebody to scribe. All of you scribe.
So we'll focus on talking and then share too. So then that way we have 2 minutes each. So okay, ready? Get ready. Set your intentions. May you find who you seek. Okay. Okay. Now I am.
The small business world, but I'm guessing plenty of us since we're
I think
actually
we
here.
all are. I think we all
But
are. Oh, I know that one. Yes.
Yeah.
the reason I even bring that up is because there are 3 people that or 4 people actually that I'm paying attention to right now that are a little bit above the game that we were talking about, where I think a lot of people are like really focused more so in their thing and the thing that they're marketing, and again, building that tribe just so you can sell to them. That is such like an outdated model already. Like
What it is.
And the thing that's driving me crazy is just like, if you partner with people, like what it talks about in this book, and if you make your tribe able to, that you give them part of the pie as they tell others, and not just leverage them, but actually just like part of the tribe, and like they have the ability to, you know, one of my favorite books that I keep coming back to is The Science of Getting Rich by Waddles, and he talks about income as giving the life energy, just like you look outside and you see vines, right, and they just grow everywhere. Like you give that life energy to other people so that they can develop their own wealth.
Yeah. So JC,
right?
let's bring this back into the room, because one of the things I want to share, I would love to know what other groups are, but the notion that JC is referring to and that came up in our group is how do we become genuine communities that don't demand marketing tags or sales tags, and how we connect with other people. And I think that's really important. So in our group, we looked at, we had the gifts we had on the table of abundance, which was my word, was growth, innovation, collaboration, and hope. Is that right? And innovation. I can't think of the word. But it was about being genuine. How we create our future is not about marketing funnels and sales tags, although we do want to embrace abundance and create revenue, it's not demanded in the first instance of creating the future together. So that was in one of the things that I got from our group, I wanted to just share, because it was, we need to make new ways of doing things. I don't succeed on myself. Together we can do something wonderful. That was actually a quote from Mother Teresa. But that also, there was hope for humanity, and that's what we're about. So let's have a review from one of the other groups. Who would speak for one of the other groups? Leila.
Yeah, hi, Pauline. Yes, our words were, so 4, so that means act, collaboration, gratitude, empathy/compassion. We all found each other. It's like some various perspectives, but saying the same thing, all in all. Because ACT, it's really all about acting together, co-creating the future, remotely even. We are the power, so we're able to act, not just talk, like talks nice things all around humanity, love, respect. No, it's really time to act.
Yes.
And collaboration, it's actually the same. I mean, it's all about acting. Collaborating means joining forces together with the other people, like-minded people, trying to engage people to collaborate for greater cause. Because that's what has been a bit missing, like with love. We need to recognize each other in the others. We mirror ourselves in the others to be able to collaborate, to understand, right? That it's really time to get together for a better future. Gratitude is all about acknowledging that we are so gifted with life. We've been given life, so we need to show gratitude to the planet, and that's why it's really necessary to collaborate all together, to act for the good of the planet, for our good, for abundance of everyone on earth, to eradicate poverty, all inequalities, everything. So be grateful for life and show it by acting. And empathy, compassion, well, yeah, you need to show that to the others. Be really altruist, and because with karma anyway, everything is going back to you, to the others on an ongoing basis. If you just need to show love to the others, and acting for them. I mean, for their good, not like think just about your self-interest or something like that. No, it's really, you need to show empathy, compassion to other people all around the world, disregarding the differences, religious, sexual orientation, and whatever. I mean, yeah.
Thank you. That's really good.
That's it. Yeah,
That's
you're
good.
welcome.
Thank you, Leila. That's beautiful. So all of those sentiments. And is there another one? Who is the next group?
I can jump in. I typed it into the chat here. So I think our words: one world, visionary, prosperity, and stronger together. As Zen said, one world is about, like, we're all entangled in one way or another. And so if we all just come together and activate our vision, and because we all have visions and purpose in this world, and at the same time, prosperity is very important, where empowerment of men and women, right? So that we fully become who we are in this world, where we are all stronger together and create this abundance together, is really how we activate. Because I think I've heard, said here, the collaboration, how do you make things happen is when you collaborate in a way that is aligned. So that's what that means. That if you, like, all the words, having vision, being stronger together to create one world. That's, you know, it's about prosperity for all of us. So
That's wonderful. So we've got a good selection of words to use. Was there another group? Or was that it? There were 3 groups.
Then that must be our group.
Yeah.
We were in room 4, so I thought there were 4 groups, but
Yeah,
hey,
yeah. there are
that's
4
just
groups.
my logic male mind at work
Yeah.
here.
Okay, what was it? What was happening there?
Oh, lots
What
was happening.
words?
So our 4 words were possibilities, forgiveness, communication, and vision. So the possibilities was a more of a personal story, which I won't share. But it is about what happens when possibilities show themselves. What do you do with them? Or do you do anything with them? Forgiveness was about the corporate world, more specifically, and how blame and difficulty arises for people who want to express their individuality or take a risk, and the business isn't interested. The business wants to shut them down and move them away. The other word we had was communication, which was about the standard word of communication, but also looking at a heart basis behind it. So a different energy, and looking at how to engage young children in understanding the importance of communication. And then vision, and that was about giving people the opportunity to see possibility out of the existing situation to a new version. So the synergistic outcome.
That's great. So isn't it amazing, out of all our very short communication together, we've got this amazing amount of words. Even if we just start using these words, and Layla was saying, you know, we've got to act. How many times in your day do you use the maximum of all these words? So I think in terms of how we act now is how we do it in our own day. Whoever you're talking to, maybe you're talking to yourself or somebody on the walkway or whatever, is start looking at these different words, maybe expand your one word with other words that you've heard today. So I love the word hope, which Andrea brought with it. I didn't think about that before. Look at growth, look at possibilities, look at forgiveness. How often do we monitor our own language when we're talking to people in order to inspire them to ripple this light out? Remember, we're the lighthouse. We're spreading light across the sea, and the sea is very stormy. We don't need to go into the sea to rescue the boats. We just need to shine the light. The boats will see us as safe harbor and either get safely on their way or even come into harbor. So for me, this is a very important start to a compendium of words that we can pull together and keep on exploring as we meet over the months. Yes. How is everybody doing with that? Do they understand using this language is what is going to be our way of sharing? So we don't have any negative words. We start always using these highly descriptive, colorful, positive words. So instead of using the word positive, use something which is descriptive of being positive. And if there's any comments you want to put in the chat about who you are and what you do, but we have come to the last 4 minutes, and I wanted to just help all of you understand what the intention is using the Hub platform. Some of you may not have used the Hub platform before, but the reason that we're using it, guided by Lisa Ma, is that it's a very good way of connecting with everybody when you're not on the screen here every month. So Lisa, just explain a little bit about how you can interact with each other inside the community part, not just the event part.
Yeah, you know, we're all here, right? Because Dr. Pauline's magical conversations resonated with us, but connecting means staying connected and connecting the collaboration and keep acting on, you know, these passion projects and words that we have. So we created a magical conversations wisdom circle for everyone to stay connected, so that we become aware of all the upcoming Magical Hub Conversations gathering Dr. Pauline's hosting, but also all the gatherings we are all hosting, right? If you think about it, all of you are super connectors and you are doing amazing things. Like for instance, I know Marty's constantly hosting, you know, amazing gatherings, right? All of us. So then how do we continue to connect is the key. So anyway, so we created this, this hub as a way to connect all of us, as you can see here, right? When you join this event, you are all connected already the moment you decided to join. So you're connected before the event, during the event, and after the event. So as you can see in the hub, there's a feed where you can drop and share your content. For instance, right? I share, I did some posts to share some of Dr. Pauline's work. I did an intro. You can also do an intro, right? Drop your LinkedIn, drop anything you want to share. Because keep in mind, when we hang up the Zoom, we're disconnected, right? So it's important for us to keep learning by each other. So all you have to do is click on here, right? To share your post and share your link. So then you're in this, you know, circle, the wisdom circle, and you can see upcoming events here. The other thing is that, you know, we didn't get a chance to meet everybody here, but you can go to the attendees tab and find each other, right? See, Dr. Layla's here and Curtis, right? So now you can message one another. And if you want to actually get connected to other platforms, because this is really important, right? Because we're on multiple platforms. You can just click on someone's picture and it will bring you, if you have your profile set up. I encourage, by the way, everyone to set up your profile once. Once you set it up, I can connect on LinkedIn or, you know, Instagram or Twitter or website, anywhere. So this is what I mean about keep activating connections. The other thing is Hub is designed like with interest hashtags. So if you, let's say if you're interested in finding people like, you know, I want to meet all the sovereigns, right? And all the in the room, right? You can see, right? You just click, you see who's a sovereign. Like, you know, I want to see all the philosophers, people who, you see, right? There's Andrea, right? So all of a sudden you find each other so much faster, right? Ooh, look, Philip. Oh wait, Philip, you have to add your tag here. So you see, right? Musicians, right? Well, all of a sudden you get to know more people, right? So that's the whole point of Hub. And also we cross-link the events that may be relevant, so we find each other. So inside, I encourage all of you to actually join the Magical Conversations Wisdom Hub community. Once you join that, you will see every single event that Dr. Pauline hosts, as well as other events that she may participate in as a collaborator or partner. Like for instance, Dr. Pauline and I co-host a gathering with light leaders and light warriors. So if this resonates with you, ping us and we'll send you a special invite. This is a private event, but it's, you know, we just really wanted to make sure we bring the, you know, our circles together, people that, you know, want to have this kind of conversation. So I see, I think a lot of people here, but most likely resonate. So, and Marty, right? Look at all of Marty's events, right? So
Hey, Lisa.
So,
Pauline, I'm gonna have to jump. Thanks.
yeah, thank you. But anyway, so
Okay.
that's the thing, right?
I'll catch up with you, JC.
All right, thanks.
So yeah, great to see all of you here. Like I said, do drop your LinkedIn and everything into the Hub, because like I said, when we disconnect, all of us, right? Disconnect. But I do also, I love taking a selfie to capture the moment. So if you can take, look at the camera, we'll take a selfie to capture the moment. All right, ready? All right, there you go.
Excellent.
Handing it back to you, Dr. Pauline.
So thank you, Lisa. So we've covered a lot today because this is the beginning. And if you noticed, I'm running one with the Southern Hemisphere, which will be available to people in the USA at 5 p.m. on the October the 6th, and the actual October the 7th is down below, down under. I wasn't sure whether it was technically correct to say down under or to say Southern Hemisphere, so I picked that. But anybody who can come to that as well. The goal is to start creating this language, this energy and action across the world, and to share lots of our amazing projects. Because I know Ara's got an amazing project, and Funza and I are looking to put things together, and Layla and I, let's start sharing that. So if we share it inside the Hub, it means that we can reference it there. We can see what's going on. So if you've got a project, put it in there, put it under the community or under this event, and also spread the word to the Southern Hemisphere if you have friends in Australia. When we first started this a year ago, we had some very brave friends in Australia who came in at 2 o'clock in the morning. Now, I'm not expecting Philip to come in at 2 o'clock in the morning when I do the Southern Hemisphere, but the world is round, and I want to collect everybody in the world in terms of this beautiful energy of magical conversations and understanding our differences. So that's been the mission today, is to start the process. It's going to occur every third Thursday. So the next one is actually October the 21st at the same time in this hemisphere on this time zone. So I would.
And everything is posted on the hub, so you can always go and find it there, right? So you can't miss it actually. Once you click and join, it will add the calendar invite, send you a calendar invite. So literally you won't miss it. So that's why we make it so easy.
And that's why we're using Hub, because it's a lot more effective for bringing these conversations together. So if you have something that came up from the words you heard today or anything you heard today, post a little postage in there. It's like having a Post-it note. And put a picture of yourself or something like the lighthouse or anything that emotes energy. Everything in our world is about energy. It's about frequency. It's about expansion. Every time we feel fear or doubt or toxic, it's contraction and you get a pain in your neck. So it's about expansion. And I want to appreciate all of you for being here. I so appreciate this. This has been a major crossroads for me to start this group, because my passion has been to create the future together. And I'm 72 and I reckon I got another 20 years. So if you're with me, this is
Absolutely.
ongoing. This is ongoing. This is going to
At least another 20, Pauline.
and Sarah's off down to Australia, so you'll be able to be part of the Australia group when you get down there, Sarah.
Yep.
And introduce yourself inside the hub, in the community, come to the event, but let's start getting to know each other inside the hub. Take care, all of you. I so appreciate you. And
Thank you.
we'll
Lots
see
of
you.
love.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
Thanks,
so much.
Pauline.
Bye.
Take care, my love. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thanks a lot, Pauline
Thank
and
you,
everyone,
Leila.
and
Thank you,
Lisa.
Leila.
Thank you. Take care
Yeah.
and bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Great to
you.
connect with you all.
Bye. Bye.
Yeah. Talk soon.
Bye, Linda. Bye, Cheetah. We stop this.
Tammy's gone.
Oh,
And Curtis.